So Rare Breed's case against Tim Hoffman is looking pretty shaky. It's looking like it's going to fall apart for a couple of reasons. We're going to talk about this, but there's also a crazy twist in this story that you're going to want to hear about. And here's the big problem. Should your kid find themselves in a sketchy situation late at night, the best way to handle this is to have a panic button they can hit. And that's what the sponsor of the channel does. It is gotyour6app.com. Now you actually have to go to the website, gotyour6, because it's Second Amendment related. He's not allowed in app stores, so you got to go to the website and download the app from there. And it'd be really cool if you guys supported him because he supported me, and it's really hard to get a channel sponsor because the last channel sponsor I had went to federal prison. Makes it a little bit difficult. But let's get into the story. All right, so there's a couple of different reasons why Rare Breed's going to have patent problems, and it's starting to become overly obvious. The first one is prior art. This is a big one for patents. When somebody has a patent dispute, if the person, like, all right, I need some examples here. So this guy patents something, right? This guy comes out with a design. This guy's like, hey, you're violating my patent. This guy's like, no, I'm not. They go to court. If this guy can prove that the technology existed before they even patent it, it makes the patent invalid. Because they're basically, it'd be like me patenting Hershey Kisses. They've existed forever. And I now put a patent on it. I can't go and try to stop Hershey Kisses from making Hershey Kisses because I put a new patent on there. They'd be like, dude, this patent's been around forever. And that's where Rare Breed's going to run into their problem because of the 3MR patent. It is so similar to Rare Breed, it's going to be very hard for them to be like, no, this technology didn't exist because that's been around way before 2018. So, the whole argument with prior art is it should have not have been patented in the first place. It's technology that already existed. They didn't have any right to patent it. Their patent is invalid. And like I said, with the 3MR patent, that is a big deal. They may lose their 223 patent over this. And the Tim Hoffman case is really going to bring that to light because it's unlike any of the other cases. And that's what this is all about, is a super safety case. The next one is the obviousness challenge. It's like, it'd be like me trying to patent talcum powder plus petroleum jelly. And saying that the combination there is now a new device or product or mixture, and I'm going to put a patent on it. You can't do that. You can't take something that anybody could have obviously done. It'd be like patenting the water going into this bottle. Anybody with very limited technology or know-how would understand that, hey, I could put water into this bottle, so I can't patent the idea of putting water into this bottle. Does that make sense to you? And so that's what they're going at, like, all right, so the 3MR patent already existed. Everything's already there. Anybody could have looked at these things and taken apart from this patent and apart from this patent, slapped it together. That's where the obviousness challenge comes into play. And that's another place where they're going into that. Also, I want to circle back to the prior art. In the super safety case, they brought up the 723 patent, which has expired, which is essentially a Rare Breed trigger. Here's an image from it from a Stromboli Law video. You're going to want to check this video out. He gets into the meat and potatoes of like the nerdy stuff that I don't care about. We're looking for what's the cause, what's the purpose. He gets into how we got to that point. So he'll cover all the nerdy information. If you want to get really super nerdy into what exactly is going on, check his video out. But anyways, as you can see, in this expired patent, it's a Rare Breed trigger. Functions the exact same way, has almost the exact same parts. There's really nothing different. I mean, there's differences. But the point is, prior art. Rare Breed should have never been awarded a patent in the first place because this technology existed long before their patent ever did. All right, so fraud. That's another big hurdle they're going over. So fraud is they lied to the patent guy, saying that this is new technology or we legally acquired this patent. If they can prove that there was some sort of lie, which seems to be pretty common in this whole Rare Breed case, so there's a lot of lying going on. If they can prove that a lie was said to the patent guy, it devalidates the whole patent. So, will it stand up? And now what is the twist? To bring in the twist, I want to bring in somebody that's a little bit more familiar with this particular type of thing. So this is what's going on. The government was like, all right, we can't win in court. All right, bet. What we'll do is we'll bake a cake. That's something where you make somebody feel comfortable, right? They usually call it baking a cake because you're breaking bread with them, or you invite them to play a game or something like that. And then when their guard's down, you get them. And that's exactly what the government did in this particular case. They're like, all right, we can't rear breed in trial, so what we're going to do, we're going to bake a cake. We're going to give them a false sense of security. We're going to give them a deal they can't refuse, a government-sponsored monopoly. They're going to make millions of dollars, be rich beyond their wildest dreams. However, we're going to come in, bam, we're either going to stall till the next administration comes in that's favorable to us, and then we're going to slam it, and we're going to go collect all these rear breed triggers and put thousands of Americans in federal prison and shoot a whole bunch of dogs and do all types of crazy stuff. Or, should that not happen, we'll just run rear breed underneath the bus over and over and over till their products get boycotted, and we'll force them to go after all these other places. Otherwise, we're going to hang, I don't know, RICO Act over them. If they don't do what we say, we're going to hang RICO Act over them. That's what we'll do. And that's exactly how it's going on. So in this particular patent lawsuit, because it looks like they're going to lose, it really does look like the super safety is going to come out on top, the DOJ stepped in. The ATF stepped in, and they said a couple of very bad things here. Number one, they basically said it is a machine gun. They keep talking about being regulated, and because they only regulate machine guns, you can take the legal speak, okay, we're only allowed to regulate machine guns. We're saying that force reset triggers are regulated. Well, that means a force reset trigger is a machine gun. And remember, in their agreement, they did not say it wasn't a machine gun. I looked at that. It says specifically in there, we're agreeing not to prosecute. That does not mean it's not a machine gun. They're just saying we are agreeing not to prosecute 922.0 on this particular product. In their agreement, they're saying this is a machine gun, but we're not going to prosecute it as a machine gun as long as you follow the rules, which is cooperating, being our little hitman. Because they have no jurisdiction in patent lawsuit, they're forcing Rare Breed to go out there and basically deputize them as ATF agents. Rare Breed is the ATF. You can read the agreement if you like. It specifically says in there they have to cooperate. The government dubbed them as an agent. They are now an ATF agent, but because they're also a private company, they can do things the government can't. Like going after things like the super safety and just dragging them through the mud and just piling them with legal expenses. The DOJ is basically breaking Rare Breed. And they're doing that by backing them. They made it clear like these are our guys. These are our agents. We're not hiding it anymore. And it's a machine gun. We're not hiding that either. If you guys don't play along, well, we're going to switch it back to machine gun and we're probably going to come after you for RICO or some other charge. You're going to federal prison. So you need to do everything you can to go after these guys. We don't care if it kills your reputation. We don't care if it makes your sales drop. Go after all of them. Shut them all down. And we'll allow you to have a government-sponsored monopoly. How is this going to play out? It's hard to say. Yeah, Tim Hoffman's case is pretty freaking solid. It looks great. But now the ATF just stepped in there and said it's a public safety matter to make sure that Rare Breed wins this case to the judge. They took away Tim Hoffman's fair trial. That's a little retarded, don't you think? Like literally, dude had a fair trial and now it's gone. Once the DOJ leans in and pushes the scale, it's a little bit hard to get a fair ruling. How will that play out? The judge could just be like, this is incredibly illegal. I don't know what you guys are thinking. And let's pretend it's not illegal. It's incredibly inappropriate. We're not going to do that, and we're going to side on Tim Hoffman's side. Or, depending on the judge, again, the judge really does make the difference here. They can be like, yes, you're right, that is a public safety thing. I went and watched videos of these, and people are just running around amok, just firing off rounds, scratching their full auto itch. Yep, nope, we're going to put an injunction on there. We're shutting all this down. That's the way it is. Anyway, if you guys would like to help support the channel directly, I am completely demonetized from YouTube forever. Best way to do that is shop at only check fans at Shopify.com, where you can purchase cool merchandise. Hats, beanies, survival gear, all that stuff. And if you don't want to spend any money but you still want to support the channel, the next best way to do that is go down the links in the description. Click on the Amazon affiliate link. Just by clicking on that link, even if you don't buy what that link is for, just clicking on it. Doing the Amazon shopping you're already going to do anyway, that'll kickback for it because you came there off my channel. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.